Hey everyone, so in the last video we used the amplitude to help us find the midline. In this video we are going to be finding the amplitude. So we have again a sinusoidal function and we're looking for the amplitude, which we know is the distance from the midline to either the maximum or the minimum. So if I drew in the midline, I'm just gonna, I don't know exactly where it is, but if I draw in the midline, then the amplitude is either this distance or that distance. Sorry, that didn't go very far. Okay, so this distance or that distance, which is the same distance, right? So what if I knew the distance from the maximum to the minimum? So what if I just had this distance? Well, if I had this whole distance and I divided it by 2, then I would have this distance, right? So I can just get the distance from the maximum to the minimum and divide it by 2. I don't need to find the midline. So remember from the last video that the midline was the average of the maximum and minimum. So that would have been 6.8 plus 1.2 divided by 2. The amplitude, on the other hand, is the distance between the maximum and the minimum divided by 2. In other words, it would be 6.8 minus 1.2 divided by 2. This is a very small distinction, but it's very important. So if with a plus, it gives you the location of the midline. With a minus, it gives you the amplitude. So that's a very, very important distinction. Midline is plus, amplitude is minus. So 6.8 minus 1.2 divided by 2, is 2.8. So this is going to be 2.8. So that's the amplitude. This distance here is 2.8. This distance here. So clearly my midline is in the wrong place, but that's okay. All right, so in this one, we are given the midline and the maximum. So instead of being given the maximum and the minimum, we're given the maximum and the midline. Note that again, we are just looking at the y coordinates. We're given the x coordinates, but we don't really need them right now. We only really need the y coordinates. Because the amplitude is just this y distance. It has nothing to do with x, and the same with the midline. So we just want this distance here. So this is actually even simpler, right, than when I had the maximum and the minimum, because I had to divide by 2 because I had twice the distance. Now I'm literally just looking for this distance. That's my amplitude. So I can just do 3.8 minus negative 3.8. So the amplitude is 3.8 minus negative 3.8, or 3.8 plus 3.8, right? Which is what, 7.6? So that would be my amplitude, would be 7.6. So that is how you find amplitude. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.